You're wasting time, energy, and emotions on someone who's playing a game you didn't agree to play. Her actions and words don't match up, and you start to question everything. It's a cycle that feels never-ending and unfair. But here's the truth. The problem isn't you. It's the power you're giving away when someone plays with your emotions. It's not just a game, it's a distraction from the stable, grounded version of yourself that Stoicism teaches us to embody. In this video, I'll show you how to stop reacting and start responding, reclaiming the peace of mind that no game can take away. Let's talk about how to get past her games and become the calm, strong man she didn't see coming. First, let's figure out what the game is. Know the game without getting mad. When your emotions are running high, it often leads to a decrease in clarity. You can tell when someone is manipulating your emotions, such as by withdrawing or sending unclear messages. You may want to confront her and demand an explanation, but think twice. When someone plays emotional games, they want a reaction that shows they control your feelings. This is where Stoic wisdom comes in handy. Epicurus was right when he said, "It's not what happens to you that matters, but how you react to it." So, you can't control Ali, but you can control your reaction. Think of it like a chess game. If your opponent makes a quick, unexpected move, do you throw the board in anger? No, you take a deep breath, look at the board, and plan 2 moves ahead. She has the upper hand if you react without thinking, so be cool and use a measured response. For example, if you text her and she doesn't reply for hours or even days, you might get frustrated and want to send her a follow-up text, asking if she saw your message. However, doing so would only indicate that she is truly irritated with you, and she would be gauging your potential response. This is where you step back and refuse to let her control the story. Instead of reacting emotionally, she shifts your focus. Go to the gym, work on a project, or hang out with friends. These are all things that will boost your self-esteem and keep your mind busy. When she does reach out, which she probably will, you'll be stronger because you stayed strong while she swayed. This is because every time you choose calm over chaos, you reclaim your power and remind yourself and others that your feelings aren't a game. Her actions may be beyond your control, but your response remains within your control. When you stay calm and aware, you not only keep the situation from getting worse, but you also reinforce your own worth by refusing to let her actions determine your peace of mind. You're showing that you're the player, not just a piece on the board. A skilled player knows the difference between reacting and answering. Remember that her games don't define you. You define yourself. Stay calm and focused on the situation. Your peace is more valuable than any short-term response. Secondly, stop trying to get her approval. It's a common but tiring habit. Stop chasing her approval trap, trying to get approval from someone who seems to enjoy not giving it. Many men get stuck in this cycle, thinking that with enough work, patience, or well-thought-out words, they'll finally get the approval they want. But here's the harsh truth. No matter how hard you try, you'll never be able to promise her approval, and even if she does give you what you want, it might not feel as good because you've given someone else your sense of worth. The real game. Share. When you stop playing this game altogether and stop trying to win her approval, you'll be free. Instead, focus on living your life in line with your own values. Let's say you've been texting someone and are eagerly awaiting a response. Every moment of silence feels like a rejection, and every vague or one-word response sends your mind spiraling. Overthinking and overanalyzing her behavior keeps you stuck on an emotional roller coaster. Now ask yourself, am I really living my life, or am I pausing it in the hopes of winning her approval? Switch things around. What if you decided right now to put that same energy into your interests, goals, and growth instead of constantly checking your phone? You could be building something meaningful, like going to the gym, learning a new skill, focusing on your career, or just spending time with family and friends. It's a shift when you stop judging your worth by how other people treat you and start acting in line with what really means to you. That's where your power lies, according to the Stoics. A deep understanding of this Epicurus said that what bothers us is not what it is, but how we think about it. It's not her disapproval that's making you angry. You think that her approval is important for your happiness. When you release this notion, you become liberated. She may have an emotional hold on you. Her responses are slow and cool. Her slow replies were warm and cool. Now, any behavior, including outright refusal, is unacceptable. Describe what you do and what you value. How will you put this into action? First, ask yourself this easy but important question. Am I living in line with my ideals, or am I trying to get her approval? Write down what you believe in, being honest. If you value self-respect, discipline, growth, or something else, then look at your present actions and see if they match your values. If they don't, it's time to celebrate again. For example, if you value self-improvement, then it's time to re-celebrate. Make a promise to yourself to learn something new or work toward a particular goal. Value good health and fitness. Rather than dwelling on her constantly, consider going to the gym and engaging in some physical activity. Each action that is based on your values makes you stronger and more durable. A man used to spend his nights trying to figure out vague texts or dwelling on what he might have done wrong. One day, he decides to stop waiting for her approval and instead pursues a hobby he's always been interested in, photography. He starts going on solo photo walks, capturing the world through his lens. He feels fulfilled, creative, and confident. Her lack of interest doesn't bother him as much because he's too focused on his life to care. Ironically, this change in energy often makes men more attractive, but by then they've realized something important. Her approval wasn't what they needed all along when they lived honestly. Staying true to your own values ensures you remain unmoved. The more you work on becoming the best version of yourself, the less you'll want to win someone over. People tend to gravitate towards individuals who don't require approval, but in the end, it won't matter because you'll understand the crucial truth. Your worth has always been your own, independent of her approval. What do you think about this point of view? Have you ever fallen into the trap of seeking approval from others, only to discover that it wasn't as fulfilling as you had anticipated? Share your story in the comments below. Your insight could help someone else make a change. Also, drop this in the comments if you're ready to reaffirm your pledge to growth and self-respect. I choose my worth over what she thinks of me. Third, let's start a conversation and push each other to keep our attention on what really counts. Keep your emotions safe. Protect your emotional energy. Your emotional energy is a valuable resource. Many of us fail to safeguard our emotional energy, allowing others to deplete it through manipulative behaviors. Avoid engaging in harmful conversations or unnecessary drama. Think of your mental health as a fortress with no walls. Your kindness and patience are open to anyone who wishes to take advantage of them. Taking care of your emotional energy is not just about survival. It's also about thriving in a world that often challenges your resolve. Think about this case. When you're dating or getting to know someone, things seem fine at first, but then you start to notice small signs of manipulation. It's possible that she ignores your messages but wants an immediate response when she reaches out. It's also possible that she brushes off your opinions in conversation or plays emotional games to keep you guessing. This is where emotional boundaries come in. Setting boundaries isn't about being rude or angry. It's about caring about your well-being enough to say no to anything that upsets your inner peace. It's the quiet, firm declaration that you won't put up with it anymore. If someone's actions make you feel emotionally drained all the time, for example, you have every right to step back. You can politely withdraw, make yourself less available, or limit how much emotional energy you put into the relationship. Seneca, a Stoic philosopher, once said, "He who is brave is free." True bravery means putting your own mental and emotional health ahead of other people's needs or games. It's not always easy. Walking away or setting limits can be painful, especially if you care deeply about the person involved. However, keep this in mind each time you find yourself in a toxic relationship. Dynamic relationships detract from your peace of mind, happiness, and personal growth. Here's an example of how this might manifest in real life. Let's say you're arguing with someone when they start twisting your words or being passive-aggressive to get you to react. Instead of getting involved, you stop, take a deep breath, and decide not to go any further. You could say something as simple as, "I don't think this conversation is helpful at this time." Protecting your emotional energy also means taking action. Think about the patterns in your relationships. Are there certain behaviors or situations that consistently drain you? If so, it's time to set clear boundaries. For example, you could limit how often you spend time with someone who thrives on drama, or choose to spend your time with people who uplift and inspire you. It's important to remember that protecting your energy isn't selfish. It's a form of self-respect. When you protect your emotional well-being, you make room for healthier relationships, better decisions, and a life full of meaning and purpose. So the next time you feel manipulated, unappreciated, or drained, take a moment to remind yourself your safety is more important than any short-term link. Instead of being frustrated when you have to leave, be strong like someone who knows what they're worth. What limits have you put in place to keep your emotional energy safe? Have you ever had trouble sticking to them? Tell us about your adventures. I would love to hear how you're handling this journey. Let's encourage each other to keep what's important safe. Boost your confidence. Mastering yourself can help you feel more confident. Being confident doesn't mean controlling other people or making things go your way. It means ruling yourself. This isn't just about getting things done quickly or on the surface. It's about building a strong and long-lasting sense of self-respect through hard work, perseverance, and personal growth. At its core, confidence means knowing you can count on yourself no matter what life throws at you. The first step to self-mastery is to be honest with yourself about your daily habits. Are you keeping your promises to yourself, like getting up at the same time every day, working out, eating better, or making time to learn something new? These small, consistent actions build a foundation for unwavering confidence. This is because when you demonstrate that you can set goals and adhere to them, you begin to believe in your own abilities. The Stoics were acutely aware of this. For example, Cato was known for his unwavering honesty and discipline, even though he lived in a world full of dishonesty and indulgence. Cato chose simplicity and principle. He wore modest clothes, refused bribes, and stayed strong even when it would have been easier to give in to the comforts and vices of his time. He didn't do this to impress anyone. He did it because he thought that mastery over one was the highest form of freedom. Let's apply this to your own life. Think of a place where you feel stuck. Your health, your job, your relationships. You may have been telling yourself, "I'll start working out next week," or instead of waiting, "I should pick up that book when I have more time." If your goal is to get fit, start right now by committing to something small but doable, like a 10-minute workout every morning. As you get stronger, your confidence will grow, not because someone is watching, but because you can see your own progress. Self-mastery doesn't just boost your confidence, it changes the way you see the world. When you focus on your growth, other people's opinions, including hers, start to fade into the background. You no longer need approval from others to feel good about yourself. You realize that confidence isn't about impressing them. It's about impressing yourself. Imagine you've been working on a personal project, like learning a new language or starting a side business. At first, no one notices your hard work, but as the weeks and months go by, you start to see progress. You feel proud of yourself every time you look back at how far you've come. That pride doesn't come from other people's approval, it comes from within. Thus, consider what one thing you can start today to become more like yourself. It doesn't have to be monumental, it just has to be consistent. For example, you could commit to reading 10 pages of a book every day, or replacing 15 minutes of scrolling with journaling or meditation. These minor acts of discipline gradually and steadily construct the foundation of your confidence. Remember that confidence isn't something someone else gives you. You earn it by taking care of yourself every day. And as you grow, you'll realize only your opinion matters. Now, take a moment to think about this. What small, consistent action can you take today to get closer to mastering yourself? Share your answer below. Take a break from the video and leave a message. This message serves as your personal affirmation. I commit to self-mastery. By writing it down, you're taking the first step to making it real, not for anyone else, but for yourself. Let's move on to number 5. Think before you react. Emotional responses are easy, but intentional responses are powerful. This is true in all situations, but especially in relationships. For example, let's say she ignores you, teases you, or sends you an unclear text message that seems meant to make you angry. When you're angry, confused, or even wanting to win, you might want to move right away. But here's the thing. When you act without thinking, you often give someone else power over your emotions. Pause. Take a moment to think about what's really important to you right now. Are you acting in line with your values, or are you letting short-lived feelings affect your choices? Stoics, ancient thinkers who knew how to be tough, taught us to deal with life's problems with reason. They believed that real strength comes from being able to control your actions instead of letting your emotions take over. This way of thinking keeps you calm and shows others your strength and confidence. If she sends you a vague text that suggests you're too busy to talk, the tone could be aimed at eliciting a response, such as an apology, an explanation, or even a confrontation, to prevent you from becoming defensive or overanalyzing her intentions. Taking a moment to think could help you give a cool, collected answer. If she seems more interested in fighting than talking, you may not respond. Refusing to react emotionally demonstrates your groundedness, thoughtfulness, and resistance to external events. This gains you respect, control, and self-worth. Every time you choose to pause before reacting, you exercise your ability to govern your emotions. As Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. The next time someone tries to provoke you, remember that their actions don't define you. Your response does. This practice of intentional response will set you apart. It shows her and yourself that you are a person who acts from a place of strength, not weakness. Keep your emotions in check, and you'll be in charge of the story. Act like the calm, sure person you want to be. 6th, let silence speak for you. Have you ever noticed that silence can say more than the loudest words? When you choose to be silent, especially during times of stress or manipulation, you're sending a strong message. Silence is not avoidance. It's strength, wisdom, and self-respect in action. It demonstrates your preference for inner peace over unnecessary drama or small games. Above all, imagine that she is testing you and manipulating you, whether through accusations, outbursts of anger, or subtle manipulation. The first thing that might come to mind is to protect yourself, argue back, or make a point. But what if you chose to be quiet instead? That silence isn't passive or dismissive. It's composed and purposeful. You stand firm, make eye contact, and let the words hang in the air unanswered. At that moment, your silence says a lot. I'm in charge of myself. I don't need to engage to prove my point. My peace is not up for negotiation. Silence isn't a sign of weakness or giving up. On the contrary, it's a very powerful tool. One of the most famous Stoic thinkers talked a lot about how important it is to let go of what we can't change. Among his teachings, he stressed the importance of silence as a time to reflect and gain clarity. When you step back and resist the urge to respond, you regain your energy and shift your attention from chaos outside to mastery inside. Let's say you're facing a different situation, such as rejection or criticism, and she's challenging your choices or viewpoint. Your first reaction might be to argue, defend, or explain yourself. But if you stay quiet, you let her words fall away without responding. Your silence becomes a mirror that shows not only her behavior, but also how calm you are. Being quiet and sure of yourself is how you gain respect. People will notice when you don't flinch or falter. When they're under pressure, they see strength, not weakness. The wonderful thing about silence is that it makes people think. When you don't react, you take away the fuel for escalation. You also give yourself time to reflect, ensuring that your words carry weight and significance in a world rife with noise and rash decisions. It's rare and magnetic when there is silence. Silence can be a way to protect and respect yourself. It's a boundary that says you won't engage in toxic patterns. It's unexpected and unforgettable in relationships. It gives you time to think about what's important, your values, your goals, and your happiness. If you want to rise above, don't give up. The next time you want to respond, ask yourself what this moment really needs. Most of the time, it won't need an explanation, justification, or argument. It will require your silence. Silence demonstrates self-control, strength, and a steadfastness against external influences. In the end, silence becomes your friend. It keeps your energy safe, reinforces your values, and leaves an image that will last. Let silence be your answer when words would weaken your power. Let your silence say more than words, and remind everyone that your peace is sacred. If you're still reading, it indicates that the power of silence resonates deeply with you. Silence isn't just a pause, it's a statement, a boundary, and a form of self-respect that speaks volumes. Now we'd love to hear your thoughts. How do you feel about using silence as a response? Has there been a time when your silence said more than words ever could? Tell us about it in the comments below, and if this message speaks to you, leave a comment that "Silence is my strength." Let's keep the conversation going and encourage others to discover the transformative power of silence. Seventh, develop your inner wealth. This is a truth that changes grow your own inner abundance. Everything is fine when your life is rich and satisfying on its own. Your foundation remains unshaken by the games, distractions, or mixed signs of others. That's the power of inner abundance, maintaining a stable foundation while others struggle with shifting circumstances. The Stoics knew this hundreds of years ago. They taught us to find joy within ourselves instead of chasing it in the unpredictable world around us. Seneca put it perfectly. The greatest wealth is a poverty of desires. In other words, the less you rely on external things to validate you, the richer you truly are. Think about it. Have you ever met someone who seems so content, so at peace, that they naturally draw others to them? Their energy is magnetic, not because they're trying to impress anyone, but because they're deeply fulfilled. You can be that person. Imagine a situation where you've been conversing with someone you're interested in, but recently they've been withdrawing, being evasive, or displaying conflicting emotions. Rather than reacting with anxiety or desperation, you choose to concentrate on yourself. You immerse yourself in your interests, such as painting, working out at the gym, or learning something new. Over time, a significant change occurs. You cease to check your phone every 5 minutes. You cease to wonder what they're doing, or why they haven't responded to your texts. This shift in focus allows you to focus does two things. You'll be content and have more confidence, and the best part is that when you're not chasing them, they'll notice and feel the shift. Suddenly, the dynamics change, and you're no longer the one waiting. This is because inner abundance is irresistible. Ask yourself, what makes me happy? Or, what makes me feel alive? Take time to grow important friendships, whether it's by going hiking on the weekends, reading a delightful book, or finally starting that side business you've been thinking about. Friendships that foster growth and happiness are crucial. Taking care of yourself is important. You deserve good food and rest, not for others. Every action you take to improve your life builds your inner wealth. Epictetus said that having few wants is more important than having many things. Stop trying to find happiness in other people and focus on creating your own joy. Then it doesn't matter if someone stays, leaves, or plays games. Your peace will stay. Remember that life is too short to chase after someone else's cup when yours can be overflowing. When your life is full, you don't just survive, you thrive. And when you thrive, you naturally attract people who respect, admire, and cherish your energy. So stop the chase and fill your life with what makes you happy. It will make you feel more confident and at peace, and prove to yourself and others that you are enough. Observe, don't absorb. Imagine you are a mirror. When someone looks into you, you reflect their actions, emotions, and energy, but none of it becomes a part of you. You just reflect what's happening without taking it in. This way of thinking is important for navigating relationships, especially when someone starts acting erratically or playing games. Consider a scenario where you're in a relationship with someone who abruptly distances themselves, exhibiting warmth and engagement one day and coldness or unresponsiveness the next. It's tempting to overanalyze what you did wrong or to compare your own mood swings to theirs. But what if you chose to observe without absorbing? Viewing from above is a technique that can assist you in gaining a comprehensive perspective. Think of it as seeing a grid from above instead of being on it. From this perspective, you can observe the actions without allowing them to dictate your emotions or actions. Her behavior, whether it's pulling away, being unpredictable, or even testing boundaries, is hers to own. You don't have to take it personally because, in reality, her actions are a reflection of her internal state, not yours. For example, if she texts you enthusiastically one day and then ignores you the next, instead of reacting emotionally, take a moment to see her actions for what they are. Patterns that might show her uncertainty or her own struggles. You can think, interesting. She's inconsistent. This is information, not a crisis. You resist giving in to self-doubt or anger, refusing to absorb negativity or confusion. If you respond at all, it's with calmness and groundedness. Perhaps you respond to her next message with the same level of steadiness you always exhibit, not to make her happy, but because you choose to remain centered. Detachment from other people's emotional games doesn't imply indifference. It signifies a deep concern for yourself, sufficient to safeguard your tranquility. When you stay centered, you set a boundary so that her games stay hers and not yours. You're free to make decisions based on your values instead of how you feel about her behavior. So the next time you feel negativity or manipulation coming your way, remember this. Observe, don't absorb. Be the mirror. Reflect what's happening without letting it become a part of you. That's what Stoic wisdom is all about. We attain liberation from the elements beyond our control and gain mastery over those within our control. Let her behavior float by like a passing cloud. You are the sky, vast and calm. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever been able to stay grounded when someone else's behavior changed? Share your story in the comments. It might inspire others to do the same. If you're ready to reaffirm your commitment to inner peace, drop this in the comments as well. I'm the sky, not the storm. Number 9 shift. Let's talk about how to stay steady and focused no matter what life throws at us. Pay attention to your shift. Keep your attention on your higher mission. When you align yourself with a cause that goes beyond fleeting feelings or pointless games, life becomes a lot more satisfying. Think about it. How much mental energy do you spend worrying about her mood swings, reading her texts, or trying to figure out what she's trying to say? Imagine channeling all that mental energy towards something far more meaningful, something that strengthens you and shapes a future you can be proud of when you dedicate yourself to a higher purpose. Her games, her inconsistencies, and even her lack of attention begin to seem unimportant. Imagine yourself caught in a cycle of excessive contemplation while anticipating her response, reliving each exchange, or questioning why she appears aloof. Instead of giving up or feeling frustrated, don't let yourself fall into self-doubt or frustration. What would you do if you chose to pivot? Maybe you've always wanted to get better at something, like writing, cooking, photography, or making plans, but you never made the time to do it. Perhaps you've been aiming to achieve a fitness objective. Start a side business or a hobby that really interests you. Focusing on these activities will change your attitude and give you back your energy. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and famous Stoic philosopher, says there is timeless advice in his writings. Stop arguing about what a good man should be and be one. This isn't just a motivational quote. It's a call to action. It tells you to stop passively thinking and start acting. Instead of thinking about who you want to be or what you wish your life looked like, start taking steps, no matter how small, to make that happen. Here is one more example. Say you've been wanting to get a promotion at work or start your own business, but haven't been able to because of a negative relationship. To get back on track, you could study networking or learn the skills you need to get closer to your goal. Or, if you've always wanted to make a difference in your community, you could volunteer at a local shelter, mentor young people, or plan events. It's amazing how your feelings and how other people see you change when you dedicate yourself to something greater than yourself. As you immerse yourself in these pursuits, an intriguing phenomenon occurs. The influence of her games, whether intended or not, diminishes. You're too busy building a life with purpose to care about the text message that once consumed you. The silence that used to be unbearable becomes a gift that gives you time to focus on what really matters. And here's the irony. When you focus on your higher purpose, you not only elevate yourself, you also change the dynamic completely. She may begin to notice a shift in your mood, the calm confidence you exude, the way you no longer seem affected by her actions may be noticeable to her. But here's the thing. By the time this happens, you'll realize that her validation isn't what you're seeking. Instead, your accomplishments, your growth, and your ability to make a meaningful impact on the world will become the pillars of your self-esteem. Whether it's a morning run, reading a book you've been meaning to, or dedicating an hour to a skill you want to master over time, start small. These small steps will build momentum, and you'll find yourself living a life so fulfilling that her actions barely register. Let go without being angry. Sometimes you just need to let go without being angry. Letting go is the bravest and freest thing you can do. It's not about giving up or admitting loss. It's about knowing your worth and picking peace over chaos. If she keeps up her games and acts like she doesn't care or respect you, you need to ask yourself how much more of your time, energy, and heart you are willing to give to someone who doesn't really value you. You can let go with grace, not out of anger or bitterness. Not only do you leave behind a negative situation, but you also reclaim your power and establish a standard for your treatment. Let's say you're dating or in a relationship with someone who makes you question your place in it. You make plans, but she cancels at the last minute. You reach out to her with genuine care, but her replies are inconsistent or lukewarm. Perhaps she maintains your presence as a backup plan, focusing her energies elsewhere. At first, you tell yourself that she's just busy or not sure how she feels, but over time, a pattern emerges that makes you feel drained and less confident. Take time to consider what you can control, your actions, thoughts, and choices. She can't change how she acts, what she values, or the choices she makes, but you can decide if you will keep up with it. You're not leaving to hurt her or make her miss you. You're doing it to protect your own peace, self-respect, and future. You need detachment to let go, but not in a cold or apathetic way. Detachment means letting go of something or someone without letting it lower your self-worth. It entails understanding that a single person or outcome does not determine your happiness and fulfillment. Rather than viewing the situation as a failure or rejection, perceive it as the conclusion of a predestined chapter. Every relationship, no matter how long it lasts, teaches us something useful. For instance, this relationship might have taught you the significance of setting boundaries, relying on your intuition, or distinguishing between genuine effort and mere excuses. Lessons aren't failures. They're stepping stones that lead to better, more satisfying lives. Future connections. Imagine what your life will be like when you let go of the weight of unrequited energy. Imagine waking up without having to second-guess everything, wait forever for a text, or deal with the emotional ups and downs of someone who doesn't put you first. Then, picture yourself putting that energy into relationships where love, respect, and appreciation flow naturally. When you release someone who fails to recognize your value, you create opportunities for connections that align with your values and goals. Most importantly, you reaffirm your own worth, because no one else's actions or inactions can change how outstanding you are. Always remember that every end is also a new beginning. Life changes, and if we hold on to things that don't serve us, we miss out on the wonderful new. You can't erase the past. You have to accept the lessons it taught you and move on with grace and confidence. Your time, energy, and heart are too valuable to waste on someone who treats you like a choice. Let go without anger, but with the quiet strength of someone who knows how valuable they are and won't give up. Let go of the past, look forward to what's possible, and trust that you're going toward a life full of love, peace, and real connection. After watching this video, please remember that when you let go of someone without being angry, you're not just leaving them behind. You're moving into a better, freer, and more fulfilling future. Your future self will thank you. Think about the trip we've just been on together. If you find yourself in a cycle of emotional games, keep in mind that the issue isn't you, but rather the power you've been unknowingly relinquishing. Recognizing the game can restore your peace and ensure your actions reflect your values. You turn frustration and confusion into power and clarity. Our lessons today are about how to handle relationships and become the calm, unwavering person no outside drama can shake. This includes everything from learning to set limits to becoming a self-discipline master. Follow these rules. Let me know what parts of this video spoke to you the most by leaving a comment below. Your thoughts could help someone else on their journey. Also, if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with others who might benefit from its message. Before you go, take a moment to watch the recommended videos on screen. Each one goes into more detail about strategies that will help you reclaim your power, protect your peace, and navigate relationships with confidence. Remember that your growth is the best gift you can give yourself. Until next time, stay grounded, stay focused, and keep moving forward.